Hey, and welcome back to another episode. I am in a replay I had with the Löwe. I'm going to be doing 3 replays of the Löwe, Louvre, Lion, whatever you want to call it, in this episode. Now again, as I stated in the last episode, I choose the replays because they don't mess up my FPS or my internet connection during the battle. Although all 3 of these matches were done pretty much in the same day, they might have had one day in between the 2 because I do work. I do have a life outside of World of Tanks. And I will stay in my view the entire battle unless I pause it to show something. And right off the bat, I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is perfect. I am the top tier tank. I am top tier heavy. I am the only tier 8 heavy in the game. The only thing I really have to stand off against me, besides the tank destroyers, is the T-29. And the T-29 stands almost no chance. So, as you can see, the Löwe is a little bit slower than most heavy tanks, but I have a 2.5 per crew, and I'm rocking a gun rammer, toolkit, and a gun laying drive as well. Gun laying drive is because the Löwe is a very accurate gun. The aiming time isn't bad, but it could be better, definitely for taking some snapshots on the front. I thought about putting a vertical stabilizer on there instead, but I went with the gun laying drive. Not only because it's cheaper, but because the vertical stabilizer, it's just, I wanted to try something out a little bit different. And it works. The gun laying drive works really well on the Löwe. Obviously over here I'm keeping my turret off to the side because if anything hits me, I want it to have a higher chance of hitting me in the turret because the front turret armor is more solid than my side armor. Not only that, but if they're taking blind shots, which usually happens in the first 15 seconds of the game, sometimes a player will run down there on the opposite side or on this side and they'll take a blind shot because they know where the tanks are going to be moving. And if that happens, I want it to hit me in the turret. I don't want it to hit me in the tank. So, gives you a higher chance. Otherwise, it would hit you in the side of the turret and possibly cause an ammo rack or kill a crew member. Right off the bat, I notice I am pretty much the only person who went over here because the other medium stopped to engage the light tank, the WZ-111, that stopped and he is floating around down towards the middle. I spot the AMX. This guy is a little bit of a threat to me. Unluckily, I put a round into his gun man that it ricochets. He knows I'm here, and he is fully aware of my presence, although he thinks he can try and get away from me. But the Panther 2 and the Super Pershing on my team are in the way, so he starts coming back towards me after coming down that hill. Or maybe it was just a way to get out of my shooting range because he doesn't know how fast I reload. Well, right here I know I'm in a bad situation. I'm fighting an FV-201 A45, which is a reward tank for an event they ran recently, in the AMX, which right off the bat is not great odds for the Löwe, but I start ripping holes through this FV who has a much smaller gun than mine, so he's having trouble really doing any damage to me. The AMX comes around the corner, aim lower part of his tank, boom, aiming for his driver. I take a shot from him, I return the shot back to him, and in this situation, I'm kind of getting pooped on. It's not a great situation. The Ally FV shoots me in the back of the tank, so some team damage definitely doesn't help out the situation too much. But I continue to fight. Now I could be side scraping, but the issue is if I side scraped, I'd be easier to hit by the artillery, which I know is probably going to be aiming for me in this situation. I could be side scraping if there was no artillery. I'm trying to track the AMX again there because I don't want him to come around the corner. But as I was saying with the artillery, boom, there's a shot right there. If I was side-scraping and he aimed back farther a little bit, he would be able to hit me. So I chose the back-up approach. I'd take a shot on the FV, shoot him again. He shoots me, it ricochets. Now in a second, when I get out of the bushes, I want to pause. Let's look at these shots they've taken against me. There are a few into the lower plate there. Some of them have scratched the lower plate down there. And it doesn't seem to be too much on the upper plate, although I saw one ricochet up there. There are no rounds into my turret. But even then, the FV has still managed to bounce me at least once or twice. You just, the Löwe, when you put it at a good angle, I want to sit at about a 45-degree angle to the enemy when I'm facing them. You want your turret barrel to be almost completely diagonal with the tip of your tracks right about here when you're aiming at somebody, because that'll give you a 45-degree angle that's best for ricocheting off the front and ricocheting off the side. And with your tracks exposed more than your front, or as equally as your front, and with the possibility of ricocheting off your side, it also has the possibility of going into your tracks and you receiving almost no damage from it. Let's go back because I was preoccupied. Jump back 20 seconds. Let's watch what just happened. The T-34-2 is looking my way. His turret's poking over. I'm going to take some shots into his turret, hoping that my incredible penetration on the Tier 8 is going to be enough to punch through. Unfortunately, I end up missing. Now, I pull up to this AMX because I want to use his dead body as cover. It's almost perfect. Just the tip of my turret would be sticking out. And boom, this guy shoots me in the tip of the turret as well. Now, unfortunately, for whatever reason that is, I cannot. There it is. Right there, you can see a ricochet off the gun mantlet. The gun mantlet on the low is incredibly powerful. I fire back into his turret, kind of a quick play shot to get away from him and avoid the artillery, which is probably sighting in on me again because there's two of them, and I bounce off. Unfortunately, he gets through me with the second shot. He puts it into the commander's hatch, it looks, and does damage. I shoot at him, I get hit by the artillery. I saw that coming. I know the artillery's probably reloading about 20 seconds. I don't think both of them are looking at me, so I take the risk of staying out in the open, take another shot at him. Boom, he's gone. His tank explodes into a barrel of flames. Now at this point I want to keep moving. I want to randomize my movement because I don't want the artillery to shoot me. My driver's dead, and boom, right there, that's where I was just sitting a second ago. Immediately after you kill somebody and you know you go dark and you don't want the artillery to hit you because you know they're aiming in, start backing up until about 3 seconds after you killed the enemy you just shot at, and then pull forward and to the left or to the right to try and stay out of his aiming circle. Because once you disappear, he's going to assume you're traveling in the same direction, and he's going to try and fire aiming at towards you were, and the way I did that right there, I managed to successfully avoid his shot. Unfortunately, I am low on health, having taken on 3 tanks and an artillery piece, and my driver is dead, and they are capping our base. I put a shot into the FV artillery. I only track him. It was kind of a quickly placed shot. I didn't want him to snap around the corner and kill the VK. The VK gets taken out because I tracked him. Now they're still attacking our base, but we have 2 people attacking their base. One of them is an artillery piece, so I make the call. Obviously I'm not going to make it across the map. I don't want to waste a large repair kit on my driver. Take a shot, get ready to take a shot on the enemy artillery. Don't quite have the shot. Didn't want to risk missing and hitting the ally. Panther takes him out. Keep heading on towards the base. I'm thinking maybe if the WZ or the Super Persian can reset, I can get there in time. It's just not worth risking 20,000 credits if I don't know we're going to win this or not. Now, if they successfully reset it, I might have more considered using the health kit to get up there and help them out. But unfortunately, they don't, and we end up losing the battle, which was very disappointing to me. So, lose the battle. Boom, there it is. There's the damage report. Ooh, that's the wrong battle. There's the report. Didn't get too much experience out of that, but I did get a fire for effect because I got 1958 damage. I placed top on my team for damage and kills, and I was top in the entire game, actually. I had a decent amount of experience considering it was a loss, and because it's the low and it's a premium tank, I do make a total of 20,000 credits off of that. Now that would be 0 if I repaired the driver, and it would have accomplished absolutely nothing. So it's a good call on my part. Get good experience out of it, a good decent amount of free experience. I fired 13 times, only had 1 miss, but I had 4 ricochets. Most of them were off of the turret, off of the T-30 or T-34. I got good damage. I got hit 10 times, had 3 ricochets. I absorbed a total of 550 damage from the shots that I took, which 1 from the T-34 and 2 from the FV. I spotted or damaged 4 of the 3 that I destroyed because I did not destroy the what tank? I don't remember what tank it was, and I didn't even travel 2 kilometers. Unfortunately, the road is slow, but you get the gist of it. That's the idea. I'm going to go ahead and take us into the second battle. Map on Crimea. Let's get it loaded. Boom, second battle. Looking at this right off the bat, could be a little bit better facing some tier 9s. Not a terrible map for the low. I either want to go to the far right on the 890 line of play in the village and risk the tank destroyers, or I want to go to the 1-2-3 line. Obviously not the 1 or 2 line into the water, but the 3 line into that beachhead right there, and up into F2 right there, that tiny little, I don't know what you would call it, I guess, hook out of the island. It's easier to avoid being spotted or shot by tank destroyers down there, but you do have to worry about light tanks such as the T-71 coming over there and shooting, or the medium tanks coming over there and shooting from on top of me at F3. But because the Löwe has incredible gun elevation, and honestly, if you take your barrel and you look all the way up into the sky, and you use that right click to pull and zoom out of your scope, and you turn around and look at the Löwe, tell me it doesn't look like an elephant sticking its trunk up in the air. You cannot. It just does. Let's go ahead and fast forward to some of the action. I call for help. Take some shots on the T-20 medium that I expected to be over there. He is going to actually prove to be a problem later on in the match. Use the incredible accuracy of the Löwe to put a shot into the top of his turret. The IS-8 has spotted us, but I'm over here with an E-75, so I'm not too scared of him. Take a shot, unfortunately he backs up. At the same time, I'm trying to use these wagons as cover while wiggling my tank. Boom, looks at it. Where did he hit me? He hit me in the gun manlet. Perfect. No penetration. No damage to any of my crew or anything. Take a shot on him on the fly, hit him in the turret, ricochets. I get hit back by an HE round, and I take a shot from him, and it penetrates this time. As you can see, I'm looking around to try and see where the guy is shooting me, just for future references. Boom, there's an IS-3 trying to poke over the hill and shoot me. And the E-75. The T-20 is now firing HE rounds. I'm not entirely sure, because he should be trying to aim for my side, but instead he's just worthlessly dudding his HE rounds off the top of my tank. I go ahead and load APCR, because in this situation I'm fighting a 112, an IS-8, and a possible IS-3, depending on whether he pokes over the top of the hill. I don't want to be shooting him in his front plate. I wiggle a little bit. Boom, doesn't work. He shoots me, takes out my radio. Unfortunately, penetrates straight through the front plate because he is firing a Tier 9 gun. A little bit deadlier. This E-75 is being a little bit wimpish. The AMX goes out there and completely commits suicide. Boom, I'm spotted. Well, what's spotting me? The IS-3 and the T-20. So, bam, put a shot into the IS-3, straight into the headlight. The headlight is one of the best spots to aim up if you only have the upper plate of the IS-3, because that is some of the flattest armor on the IS-3 as long as you're facing it. If an IS-3 is angled to you, it actually lessens his armor because of the way his tank is shaped. He wants to be directly facing you. So if you're in an IS-3 and somebody's pointing at you, you do not want to wiggle your tank because of the way you're shaped. If you're in an IS-6, somebody points at you, you want to wiggle your tank. Put a shot into the side of the IS-8. I'm trying to take out a driver or a loader or something, shooting him underneath the turret. Boom, I get taken out by the T-20, unfortunately. Sad story, I get killed, and they take the beachhead. The team eventually ends up losing. Well, there's no point really in watching the rest of this. So, let's look at the screenshots of the match. Put 2 shots into the IS-8, 2 in IS-3, and 1 into the T-20. I got a Mastery Class 3rd badge. The team did manage to win, even though we lost the beachhead. I fired 8 times, ricocheted 1 time, and completely missed twice. The 1 ricochet was off the IS-8's turret. I got about 1,600 damage, so that's good. I almost evened out on hit points. It was still a good match. I'm not trying to show you guys the best matches I've ever had in the Löwe. I just want to show you some basic gameplay footage and watch the way I'm playing it, and this is a general idea of how you want to be doing it as well. I made a decent amount of credits off of it. Would have been a lot better if I had a premium account, which I do currently. I got hit 7 times, ricocheted twice, and both of them were HE shells from the T-20, so I pretty much got 8 up in that match. You can see the difference between a Tier 8 match with the Löwe and a Tier 9 match with the Löwe. I did not last nearly as long. I only got about 3 minutes into the actual match. Spotted 2 enemy tanks, damaged 3, only blocked 400 damage from his HE shells, which is kind of puny. I placed near the middle of the team on damage. I just was not a tank up to par, and I kind of got pooped on in that situation because I didn't expect that many tanks to be over there on the beach. I expected the 2 ISs in front of me, but the IS-3 on top of the hill really threw me off there. The T-20 was expected as well, but luckily our WZ, the Conqueror, and the AMX-30 managed to pull off some amazing feats, get 3,000 damage apiece, and completely stomp and destroy the enemy team. Boo-hoo in the IS-8. Kudos to him for getting that much damage, considering he was almost dead by the time I was dead. And let's go ahead and start the third match. Alright, match number 3, Lakeville. In case you guys aren't noticing the progression, it went from a tier 8 game, a tier 9 game, and now it's a tier 10 game. Unfortunately, looking at the enemy team, I'm looking at that T92. Oh man, do I hate T92s. That FV215B, the 121, and the 263 are the things I fear the most in this match. The T92 not so much, because I don't think I'm going to be that important of a target to him. And the T62A not as much as well, because I know I can penetrate him relatively easily, although he is a very short tank and he is going to be able to flank me easier than I would like to admit. Right off the bat, I'm throwing in some good ringside talk here. Let's have a good match, nobody punching for the crotch, being this is a tier 10 game. Go ahead and keep my turret off to the side so nobody shoots me in case I get spotted. I want to keep an eye on these scouts and take a shot out, try and help the 1375 out. Unfortunately, I missed. Thank you, RNG, for that. I've had worse. I literally watched my round drop out of the end of my barrel and hit the ground in front of me. Unfortunately, I was not paying too much attention. At that point, I did end up somehow hitting the Carnivoron, even though I was staring dead at him. I just was not. Whatever I was doing at that point, whether I was checking a message or if I had exited to TeamSpeak or something real quick, I don't know. But I did hit him, did no damage, so I didn't go blue. Woo! You want to take the back road here when you're a heavy, especially in a higher tier game, because you don't want the light tanks to be spotting you, especially when you're headed towards the city, because they can count, well, how many guys are going to the city? Well, you got 10 heavy tanks headed to the city. Well, the entire enemy team sees that, and some of them, if they're bright enough, may turn around and go back. Now, at this point, I'm looking at the map, and I'm like, well, there's a crap load of guys over in the field. There's a crap load of guys on the road. There can't be that many guys in the city. That's about half their team right there. Boom. Not to mention the ones who haven't even been spotted yet. So I'm kind of wondering, well, who's going to win this so far? Because it's not looking too great for our team. They seem to be outnumbering us everywhere we are. That there are some tanks moving around. The T62 is relocating, and the city, our guys in the city are starting to fan out, spread, and get a wider view of the city instead of just sitting in one spot. Now at this point I'm looking at the city, I'm like, well, I'm fighting tier 9s and 10s, I probably need to be side-scraping because there's no way I'm going to take a full frontal shot from a tier 9 or 10. Go ahead and spot another low. I'm like, oh look, my twin. Can't hit him, take the shot at the IS-8, fire at him, he shoots at me, ricochets off the top of my gun mallet, I penetrated him. Good thing about the IS-8, its armor really isn't that great, unless you're hitting it in the top frontal plate. Keep analyzing the map, looks like we have enough people in the valley to start pushing. The valley starts making some bold moves, you can see the Foch up there taking some shots, look good for him. That gun is a monster. Now, unfortunately, I'm starting to become the only person on this side of the city. Everyone else is starting to ditch me. But I'm okay with that, because right here I'm providing overwatch for the top of the city if anybody retreats behind the church. And I'm watching, because right now as a tier 8 heavy and a tier 10 a tier 10 match, I kind of be more of a support role, being the low is a excellent sniper, and it has good gun penetration. I just don't want to go out there and get myself killed. Taking some pot shots at the IS-8, no shot. Didn't want to shoot him in the turret. Also didn't want to get spotted. Now, if I was in a tier 9 or a 10, I was firing at the IS-8, it would still bounce because the IS-8 has a good turret, so don't do it. Stay in my side-scraping position, try and spot as much as I possibly can. I want to help out the team while still staying alive because I'm in it for myself as well, not just the team. I can be a team player, but gosh darn it, when it really comes down to it, I just hate dying and having absolutely nothing to show for it. T49 is backing out the city, takes some back roads. Ooh, and I take a heat round. Straight into the turret, right into my gun mill. Like, where the hell did that come from? Well, back up, try and see, find out who it is. Turns out the IS-8 is staring dead at me. Take a shot, return it, let him know I'm looking for him. Shoot him in the turret, ricochet, no penetration. Why bother? Well, RNG sometimes can be on your side, so the IS-8's turret armor is really high, and my penetration is relatively decent, but it couldn't hurt to try. Not only that, but I knew I was going to hit him, so couldn't hurt to buff my accuracy by 1 shot, which has been terribly ruined by playing the Panzer 1C so many times. Now, at this point, it looks like the push in the valley has completely failed and fallen apart, as half of my team is dead. The enemies in the city are starting to take majority role. Showed at the low. I was trying not to get shot back myself, ricocheted off his front plate. He had a beautiful angle against me. We lost the middle row. The T-62 and the Speer Panzer are covering it. At this point, I'm like, well, I need you to do something or I'm going to get just destroyed. Take a shot at the T-30. No go. Definitely don't want to stick around and fight the T-30. He's got about a 15-second reload with a good crew, 18 seconds or so stock, but he's got a monster of a cannon on there. It's a T-95 on a more mobile platform, just being a T-29, which, if you go a hole down, is pretty much invincible in Tier 9 games. It can do a whole lot in Tier 10 games, too, as long as you don't get shot in the commander's cupola. Take a shot at that T-62 I was eyeing up earlier. Well, boom, he's dead, gone, toast. He is obliterated, dead, destroyed, gone, wasted. TNT. Boom, take a shot at the T-30. I ricocheted. Well, how did that happen? I don't know, but he's starting to look at me, so I definitely don't want to stick around. And poke out and antagonize him a little bit. I want to keep him off of my other team members because I know he's not ready to shoot yet, but I want him to stare at me so they can shoot him in the sides. T-30 starts to decide to back up. He doesn't want to take on a 121 in the low at the same time, being with such a long reload. Now I'm pointing at him, I'm looking at him, trying to only show him my turret. He takes a shot. Boom! He exposes himself. He's completely vulnerable. I want to go in, I want to swoop in and take a shot, but I don't want to risk being hit by something else. Right now the match is dead even with 11-11. Make a wish. The score is even. The tanks are not too even. We're looking at 2 Tier 10s and 8 and a 7 on my team. They have 2 Tier 10s and 9 and an 8 on their team. They can easily outmaneuver us. Whew. I'm tired of talking. You're tired of hearing yourself after a while. Take a shot at this T-30. Ooh, I penetrated with an APCR round. He's looking for revenge. He's looking for revenge. He's looking at me. I want to keep him off the 121. The 121 is more valuable than I am. Ooh, when I take that shot, and it doesn't do anything. Woo-hoo! Still got plenty of health left. Pretty much worthless against me. We take him out, we can immediately turn around and go help the chillian artillery with the base. And the chillian at this point, well, he's kind of in the open. He's sitting in a bush right now, but if that AMX comes running towards him, he's going to be spotted real quick. He's got one more shot left in the container, as he just said. Ooh, some dirty trash talk for them heat rounds that T-30 fired. 0 damage straight into my gun mantlet. Look at that. Now, the chillian artillery, he's going to take his shot and he's going to back off because he has a long reload, hoping that the 121 and I can take our shots, reset the cap, and he can swoop in and save the day about a minute later after he finishes reloading his shells. Now, don't get me wrong, the chillian artillery is an excellent artillery piece, but ooh, that reload is killer. You got to be real careful with that. 121 is out front spotting, so I'm going to stay back and snipe like the low really should. Boom, straight into the 121 with an APCR round. At this point, I'm going to fire pretty much straight gold because I want to win the match for our team. Take a shot at his lower plate. Bam! Straight into the bottom of his turret. He is toast. The only thing left, the AMX 1390. 1390 probably realizes at this point, well, gosh darn it. The only thing I can do left is cap or try and take some shots and leave. 121 doesn't have too much health left. Take a shot. Oh, boom, just barely scraped the side of his tank, 300 damage. The AMX 1390 is looking for revenge on this 121 for spotting him. 1390 starts making the push, and I missed. Could not save my teammate. 1390, unfortunately, starts swooping around the 121, and the 121 finishes him off. Way to go, 121, good maneuvering. Poop on you, 1390. Let's take at the battle statistics. I got a fire for effect, good damage, relatively overall. Got a second place master badge, good experience. I had 2 shots on the 121, etc., etc. You guys can read. 13 shots, 3 penetrations, and 3 complete misses. I didn't make too much money, but I lost almost 40,000 firing the APCR rounds. But when it comes down to it, I went positive in silver, I went positive in experience. And all I really care about at this point is experience to train this crew. Holy crap, does it take a long time to train a crew. I got almost 2,000 damage. A lot of it was from sniping. Half of my damage was from a distance of 300 meters or more, which is kind of a statistic you want to have high on your low because of the way it's built. I got hit 3 times, but only one of them penetrated. 2 of them were straight into my gun melee. One of them was a heat round, and it just did not do any damage. I managed to block 1,200 damage, most of that being from the T-30. Well, poop on you because your heat round didn't do anything. I probably pissed him off pretty well. Damaged 5, destroyed 2. I got some minimal damage caused with your assistance, but that's more than I had the last 2 matches. I did reset cap by 11 points, and I almost traveled 2 kilometers. That match I managed to stay alive more than 3 minutes, went 9 minutes almost. And, well, say what you want, but 2-8 heavy tank, I placed 4th in the team for damage, and I was 2nd place for experience on my team. I only got 2 kills, but the 121 swoops in with 5. But then again, really look at it. You had a low in a tier 10 match who got 2 kills and 2,000 damage. I did better than the majority of their team. So it was a good match. It was a good effort by the last few in the match. I appreciate the save on the 121 going out and spotting the 1390, risking his life to win for the team. That's a team player right there. It wasn't a suicide scout, but he spotted the 1390, backed up, and had the 1390 come to him while I could stay back there and support with sniping. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough time for the chillian to reload and get some more shots off, but you did see the chillian relocating because if we died and 1390 got back on the cap, he wants to stay alive so he can put some more shots into the 1390. And that would conclude it for World of Tanks Episode 2, or that would be Episode 3, my bad. Playing some heavy tanks, particularly the low, and I will do some more videos with heavy tanks. I will be playing the King Tiger, and I'll play the Tog eventually, etc., etc. And thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button or leave a comment below. Try not to dirty talk the other members. YouTube is a clean environment, but to be honest, I don't care. So say what you want, say what you will. Have fun. Thank you for watching.